If you don't have values, you're probably just wandering aimlessly, not really sure what your organization's purpose is. So if you don't have a clear set of values, you won't have the parameters that guide your organization towards success. If you went through all the trouble of creating values, but you don't live by your values, then that was a royal waste of time. And if you as a leader are not walking in alignment with the values that your team created, that is royal hypocrisy. Yo, what's up, party people? Welcome to another episode of Thrive and Dive. Thriving in life as we dive into deeper conversations. The purpose of this show is to help you thrive. And we are unpacking another leadership lesson that I feel could help you thrive in your leadership. And it's another lesson from the book, The Truth About Leadership. And today's lesson is that values drive commitment. If you want your constituents and followers to be committed to the cause, your cause must be in alignment to the values of your organization. So we must define what a value is. And it's pretty obvious what a value is. It's what you value. And every organization has a set of values, whether they're spoken or unspoken. But hopefully your organization or your group has a list of spoken values. Why? Because the things that you value will be the North Star that directs your organization forward. If you don't have values, you're probably just wandering aimlessly, not really sure what your organization's purpose is, and therefore your followers are just going to coast on by and not have the passion and ambition that's necessary to get the work done. So you need to define what your organization's values are. I know for me, my organization that I work for, shout out to Warner University, we just, in the student life department, the department that I work in, we just put together some values for our department for this school year. And our values are hospitality, authenticity, and reconciliation. Those are three values that drive everything we do in our department. If any initiative that we seek to do is not in alignment with fulfilling those three things, then we need to scrap it. We need to not pursue it because that's a distraction from what's most important to our organization. So if you don't have a clear set of values, you won't have the parameters that guide your organization towards success. So what are your values and how do you develop your values? It's a great question. Your values need to be in alignment with the team's values. More or less, you probably have a team of people, whether it's you and one person or you and a group of people. If you create values without the buy-in of your teammates, then the values are just your values and they're not your company's values. So when you set a time to create values, you need to make sure everybody has a seat at the table. If you just from your ivory tower construct these wonderful values that you just feel everyone's going to enjoy and be in alignment with, you are wrong. You need to consult your team, allow them to have a say to what the values are. I know that's what we did at Warner University in our student life department. We all spent time drafting what we think values should be, our values should be, and we gave a defense for why we believe these should be our values. And then once we had all of our notes, a smaller group of us took those notes and refined them into what our values would be. We synthesized them. So not everyone was involved in the final draft, if you will, of putting the values together. But at the beginning, everybody had a say. So you need to find what your team values. And if you don't know what they value, then that's going to be counterproductive to the mission of your organization. Because hopefully you have people on your team that have the same passion that the organization has. And that's what you actually use to vet whether someone would be a good teammate on your team. Does their personal values align with the values of the organization? So in the interviewing process, you've got to make sure that the values of your organization are clear so they have a chance to decide if they are in alignment with those values or not. Because if they're not in alignment with their values, that's okay. This is just not the organization or group for them. So consider your team as you're putting together your values. And then once you guys put together your values, you have to make sure that you guys are living up to those values. Values can't just be, the 10 commandments written on tablets are never considered ever again. That's not good. If you went through all the trouble of creating values, but you don't live by your values, then that was a royal waste of time. So you've got to make sure that everything you guys are doing is funneling through those values. And this takes accountability, right? And hopefully, if everybody has buy-in to the values that you guys created, accountability is actually not going to be a painful process. I think typically there's a negative connotation tied to accountability, like, oh, you're checking up on me, you're making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But in the setting of a good collaborative team, accountability is actually a form of encouragement. I'm so thankful that my coworker is keeping me accountable to the values that we created not too long ago. They care about me. They care about our work. So in your organization, especially if you are the leader, you need to be championing your values and making sure that you are living a life in alignment with those values as the leader. Because here's the thing, it starts with the top. You know this. Everything rises and falls on leadership, right? And if you as a leader are not walking in alignment with the values that your team created, that is royal hypocrisy. And that is going to make you lose your credibility with your team. Your team's not going to believe in you. Your team's not going to believe in the values. And the commitment level of the team is going to go down tremendously, right? Because values drive commitment. If you're not living in tune with your team's values, the commitment of your team is going to go down. So to reference again, the student life department at Warner University, that the department I work in, we are now seeking to live out these values of reconciliation, authenticity, and hospitality. And it's driving our commitment. We see the vision ahead. We have a goal, and that is to create a space at Warner University that's hospitable, authentic, and brings reconciliation. So for you, what's your vision? What's your values? Because without values, you are like a ship wandering at sea with no source of direction. Your values are the vehicle that you use to achieve your mission and vision. Values are the things that are so necessary for you to be an organization of purpose. And here's the thing. Your values are actually the ones who run the show in your organization. You as a leader are not the one who runs the show. Your followers aren't the ones who run the show. Your values run the show. So when you're leading and when your followers are following, you are actually all following the set of values that you guys have established. That's the true leader. Because if you're a leader that's not living in accordance to the values, or you propose an initiative that's not in alignment with the values, the followers have the responsibility to push back against you and be like, hey, we created these values, but you are not leading in such a way that's in alignment with these values. We're going to follow the values over you. And that's the right thing that they should do, because the values are the ultimate leader, because they are the vehicle by which you're going to achieve your mission. So be thankful if you have followers that push back against you because you are not walking in alignment with your values. Those are followers worth having, not a bunch of yes men that are just going to do what you say, even if it's contrary to the values. So let your values reign supreme in your organizations. Why? Because values drive commitment. There's our next lesson in leadership here on Thrive and Dive. This is Thrive and Dive, thriving in life as we dive into deeper conversations. Have a great rest of your day.